I was emailed recently by a company called MAXKGO. Wouldn't be surprised if you haven't heard of them. MAXKGO manufacture speed controllers, particularly quite large speed controllers. And they sent me a couple. So I'm going to try one of their 5 to 12S 120 amp speed controllers in this. So this is a packet for one of the speed controllers. Let's tip it out. There is a little bit of soldering to do. The phase wires need to be soldered to these pads, and then the battery wires need to be soldered to these, and then I think there's some programming pads as well that I need to solder to, but fairly quick job. It looks pretty substantial, big heat sink on there. So this jet doesn't really owe me anything, so I'm willing to try this out. I looked at their website. It's pretty impressive. They got some good products. So I'm just going to solder this up. Take me a couple of minutes and I'll show you that. Okay, so that's the soldering job done. So 3 wires here for the phase wires to the motor from this speed controller, and the wires to go to the battery. So it's an 8S setup, so 2 4S batteries in series, and then this goes to the receiver. You got signal wire, earth, and the voltage, the power lead. But obviously, when this is an opto speed controller, does not have a BEC, so I will be taking the red wire pin out of this. You only need to have the red wire in this plug when you are programming, and I'll hope to cover that in this or a future video, but that is a very quick thing to do. A couple of tips when you're soldering. On the pads that you solder to, very important that you use a really good flux, use plenty of flux, and then tin the pads with a lot of solder before you try and solder the wires onto them. Pre-tin the wire, and then you're going to have to use, because it's really quite thick wire, you're going to have to use a quite hot soldering iron. So this I just got off Amazon. It goes up to 480 degrees, and I whack it up to that temperature, and that means I don't have to have contact, well, heat on the pads or the wire for too long. So I'm not the prettiest at soldering, but it's functional and it gets the job done. And then I cover it up with a bit of shrink tubing anyway, so you can't see it. I cheat like that, but not on that side, obviously. But you can see there, you have to put a lot of solder down to create a puddle on the pad on the speed controller, then a lot of solder on the wire end, and then put the two together and then apply a bit of heat for maybe 5 to 10 seconds so that both sides melt into one another. Okay, so let's install it in the jet now. Okay, so you can see here I've now got the MAXKGO 120 amp 5 to 12S speed controller installed, connected to the phase wires on my motor in my EDF at the back, and connected up to two 4S packs in series. And what I've also done is connected it to the ESC link. This is the ESC link you can buy with the speed controller. You notice here I have got all 3 pins from the speed controller into that ESC link via a USB lead into my laptop. But what I do when I'm not configuring the speed controller is put it on that servo extension there, and that has the red wire removed from the plug that's going into the receiver. So because I don't need that because it's an opto speed controller. Now just to show you on the software, and this is on am32.ca/configurator. You connect on your USB port and you can set all types of things up on this. You should double check these things. So the motor spec, for example, you can set the startup power, the motor kV, the motor poles, the beeper volume if you really want to do that, and other things like the brake on an EDF, you want that off. So I've done that, those types of things. So very important to do that using the AMS32 configurator. So with that done, I think I'm ready to take this down the flying field and fly again for the first time in about 3 or 4 years. Let's go. Okay, here we go, first flight. One more puff. Gear pass coming up. Gear going down in 3, 2, 1. Nearly stayed on.